So, I'm going to continue my talks on some franchises that I enjoyed in my childhood for a while. Again, I'm not really as into these anymore. I still do play some of the games and watch the films that come out, but I'm going to speak more about some of them now. I'll talk a little bit about the Zelda games. Zelda is really good. Good franchise by Nintendo. Played the first Legend of Zelda on NES back in '91. I am playing that more now. Could never really get that far into it when I was a child, but can get farther into it now. I'm playing that now actually. Has a cool feel to it. I know Shigeru Miyamoto based the game off of times when he was walking through the woods when he was young. Um, but yeah, there's a really cool kind of feel to it. You get that sort of dungeon vibe from it, just traveling through these different dungeons and solving puzzles and collecting keys and defeating enemies. And I really like that element to it, the collection element. Not only collecting keys in the dungeons, but also collecting new weapons, the sword, the boomerang, the bow and arrows, candle. Map is also good to use in the dungeons if you're able to find the map. I think that's in the first game also, from what I can remember. But yeah, that's a really good, interesting, over the top um, view side scroller with a lot of those elements that I just spoke about. And then Zelda 2. I played Zelda 2 on the NES also around that same time. I played that, I think more at my cousin's house than I did at home, but and watched him play it a lot. But Zelda 2 is a bit different. It is not over the top in terms of its viewpoint from the player. It is a side scroller, so you see Link walking side to side. Link is older in it now. He is a young adult as opposed to a child in the first one. Um, so you still have the sword. You cannot shoot from the sword anymore, so you can't shoot energy from your sword, but you can use it to stab enemies still. You can duck, which is also new. You can also jump. So it's more of your typical platformer. I thought it was a good game. You can travel throughout the map, which is sort of your main hub, so to speak, and then you travel around this map. And as you travel through this map, if you encounter an enemy, that will, like in a lot of RPG games, that will cause you to have to fight the enemy and or escape from it. So there's that element to it. But you can also walk through the map and visit different towns, walk through towns, talk to the different characters in those towns to find out information on how to get through the game. You can go through the different dungeons where you fight the different enemies and bosses. So the second game does differ from the first, which is good. I like that it is of a different style. It is overhead for that map section, so I do apologize for that. You do have an overhead view like in the first one for the map section, but it does have that side-scrolling element too, whereas in the first one it's all overhead view. So yeah, just more of a basic side-scrolling action adventure. Not really a platformer, as I stated before, but more of an action adventure game. That's a good one too. That one I never got very far in as a child either. I'll have to play that again as an adult. I've delved into it a bit, but not a lot. But yeah, that one's. Oh shoot, you know what? I forgot to mention to you. I also played those. What are they called? For the Wii U and I think the Switch too. Those games where They incorporate all of the old Nintendo games, like Mario and Zelda, into the game, but they incorporate like new elements to them. So it's not the whole game, but they're like mini games you can play. So like for Mario, you can do like a speed run. You can collect coins for one. You have to collect like 15 coins or something like that. Um, I don't know. I'm talking to myself here, but I will look up NES. I think it's, hold on, let me just double check. Yeah, NES Remix. I think I've played both of those, NES Remix and then NES Remix 2. Those are both really good. I really like those, kind of a blast to the past. If you're feeling nostalgic for those old games, those are good. If you don't want to just replay the old ones, if you want some new elements to them, they provide these mini games that you can use, or that the game uses in the game itself. So again, like that example I gave for Mario, you can do a speed run, you can collect coins. There's a whole bunch of other mini games that are incorporated into the old games also. So NES Remix 1 and 2, I played both of those. Um, yeah, because I think I got the remix pack, which I think contains both of those. Oh, I didn't know they had Ultimate NES Remix. I don't know what that is. Is that have new games added to it? I don't think I played that one, but I do think I played 1 and 2 for the DS. And hold on, let me check because I Ultimate NES Remix. I think it's on the DS. NES Remix for Wii U. I remember playing one on the DS also, the 3DS. So either Wii U or 3DS. That's the NES remix. I forgot to include that in the Mario games that I played. They technically are Mario games, as well as Zelda and Metroid and all the other classic Mario games too. But just thought I should mention as I have spoken about Mario and now Zelda. But anyway, so I covered the first two Zeldas on the NES. Both are good. I enjoy them both. Both hard, and I've never been able to beat, but I will try to do so. Now that I'm a bit older and more experienced. I'm trying to think of the next one that I played. I think the next Zelda game that I actually played was a while after I played Zelda. When I was a kid, or a child rather, I skipped over because I had a Sega Genesis, not an SNES. I never owned an SNES. Never played SNES games until I actually started playing my Wii, which had that option to buy the SNES games. But anyway, Um, the SNES, I skipped over for Zelda because I had a Sega Genesis instead. But the next game I played in the Zelda series was Legends of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Um, so yeah, that's a really good game. That is the first time I ever saw Zelda in 3D. Again, the big feature of the N64 that all the children rather, were interested in back then was the 3D element. I can now play all my favorite NES and SNES characters in a 3D world and in these huge, um, not necessarily free roaming, but more free roaming 3D environments, which is really cool to see at the time. And that was such a huge leap. But I think Nintendo has made other huge leaps as well with the motion control and with the Wii U and with the Switch. And I forgot to talk about Switch in the last one, but I liked the Wii U portability and home console hybrid idea, and I really liked the um, Nintendo Switch, which maintained the motion controls and had more of the original Wii element to them with the Wii sticks, the red and blue Wii sticks or Wii motes, or I don't know what they're called, but the red and blue Switch motes. That's what I'll call them for now. But that also included more portability than the Wii U, so that was a big jump also for the Switch. So those are two different elements. also. So when you think of like the jump from 2D to 3D, that's a huge jump. But I think it's also a huge jump to go from again GameCube had just better graphics, the 128-bit, so that's a big jump. And then the jump to the motion control on the Wii, and then the portable slash home for the Wii U, and then even higher portability, and then even better use of motion control for the Nintendo Switch. I think they're all huge jumps. So I don't know. When I first think of big jumps in terms of gaming technology, you do think of the graphics first, as that's the first you see. But there are other jumps that are made that are huge also. And I'm not a video game programmer or designer, but I have respect for them. And I have built some better build box games myself, which is basically just drag and drop, and you can create some good 2D games, side-scrolling games with those, but they're not really my own design. The designs are already there, all of the elements are already programmed in. I'm just dragging and dropping the characters and the items onto the screen in a way to make a game like a shooter game or like a side-scrolling game. So I haven't really actually created any games, but I have used, is it Better Build or Build Box? God, I'm so horrible with names. Let me just give me one moment. Better Build, Build Box, Build Box. Okay, Build Box is the name of the program. Build Box Classic. If you want to delve into creating video games, yeah, get Build Box Classic. I don't know if it's free or not, but research it. Build Box Classics, Build Box Classic. You can create your own video games essentially. They're all 2D, but if you want to start getting into game building, then get the Build Box Classic. So, Zelda Ocarina of Time, first 3D Zelda game, that was the next one after the NES that I played. I did end up playing Link to the Past for SNES later on when I got the Wii. But I guess I'll talk about that one now, just to go in chronological order. So, Link to the Past, also 2D, also overhead like in the original. 16-bit though, a bit more colorful and exuberant. Use of full finism, I think that's the way you pronounce that word. Use of exuberant colors and art. Had some trouble pronouncing that in some other videos, but I think that is how you pronounce it. Full Foifinism. Either Fulfinism or Foifinism. It's one of those. Let me just check real quickly now. Oh, Foifism. Just let me check. Foifism. I don't know why I thought it was Foifinism. So I have to correct myself in my description on that art video. Foifism, a group of early 20th century modern artists, yeah, who emphasized painterly qualities and strong color over the representational or realistic values retained by Impressionism. So yeah, strong color. I guess exuberant color would be another word for that. I think that's correct. Lively energy and excitement. So kind of, yeah. I guess exuberant color is a good way to describe that. So Foifism is sort of found in uh, the SNES Zelda Link to the Past. As stated, same overhead view as in the first for the entire game. Does have more of a story and character dialogue to the game. Has same sort of idea though, where you're finding different weapons and items to make your way through the game. Some more puzzles in there also, which are also in the first game. So sort of like just a 16-bit version of the original Zelda, but with a bit more story, a bit more character dialogue, better graphics, and a good game. I really liked it, enjoyed it. I really liked that game. And I'm trying to think what else is in there. So yeah, oh yes, okay. So after Link to the Past, I played Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which was the first 3D Zelda game that I played, and the first 3D Zelda game that actually came out. Um, or debuted. So the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is an awesome game, difficult one too. I put a lot of hours into that one. A lot of really good puzzles in that game. Some difficult ones too. Nothing like super hard, but some hard ones, and really enjoyed it. 3D. Link you play as both a child and as an adult. You travel through time. Spoiler alert. You travel through time in the game at one point, so you um, essentially wake up from I think your 10-year-old self, and then you wake up 7 years later as your 17-year-old self. And it's cool to play as both the child and the adult. I like the use of the 3D element to make use of the different weapons in a different way. So you can use the boomerang. I was doing the slingshot there, but from the original game, the boomerang can be used in 3D, so you can aim, um, have an aim view, and then you can actually use that aim view to aim where you want to throw the boomerang, and then you can throw the boomerang or the slingshot. I was thinking of weapons from the original game, but you can also use that for the bow and arrow, and you can also use it for the hook shot also. So that's really cool. And I think you can use all those weapons too without having to aim also, and have that aim mode where you're just seeing outside of the character onto the screen. You can also use those weapons where you can actually see Link, and you can't aim with them quite as well, but you can still use all of those weapons and fire them at enemies. So really good. I really like the story behind it with Ganondorf. I kind of like having Ganondorf in his human form being introduced for the first time, being a thief. So that was cool. I liked how he turned into the classic Ganon, Blue Pig, again, spoiler, at the end of the game. The giant version and more realistic pig version. More realistic. He's still blue, but excuse me, I had a belch in me there. But that's a really good game. Zelda Ocarina of Time, first 3D Zelda game. I've also played Majora's Mask. I think that's a good game too. I never got very far into that. I played that on the 3DS. That is really difficult because it has the time limit. I like the story. I like the idea of uh, having the moon um, almost crashing, or the impending crashing of the moon into the Hylia, right? Is because Link's a Hylian. But that idea is good, and I like that idea. But the time limit sort of made it very difficult to play, and I couldn't get very far into it. And I'm not a novice gamer. I'm not super advanced either. But I would say, uh, 7 out of 10 level I could handle easily. Um, that's a good challenge for me. But yeah, that was hard. I could not get past like the first level or two in that game. Just the time limit just made it too difficult. So I do appreciate that game, and it seemed like a good successor to or sequel to Ocarina of Time, but the time limit just made it too difficult. I couldn't get past the first level, but it could be good if I could just increase my gaming skills. Um, so that's Majora's Mask, and then excuse me, I keep yawning. Yeah. Ugh. Wake up here. Okay, so Wind Waker on GameCube I also played. Also a very good game. Had the unique cell shading art to it. Really liked that game on the GameCube. I liked the water element to it. I liked how you could travel around in the boat and fish and find different treasure. I really liked that. I liked how you had the map that you could use to see the ocean and to travel around the ocean in. I liked that it was a bit of a change of pace from most of the other Zelda games. It still had the Zelda elements you could find in gameplay that was in Ocarina of Time, which is good. similar gameplay there. But you also had the addition of the water world, which I thought was good, and having the map and the fishing and the treasure finding, all really good additions to um, the the Ocarina of Time gameplay. Yeah, and the cell shading art is really good too. A bit cartoonish, but I do like that. It was good, and then found a lot of GameCube games at the time, so that was cool. So Wind Waker, I highly recommend also. And then after Wind Waker, what did I play after? Oh, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess on the Wii. It's on GameCube too, but I just moving on to the Wii here. Um, Really good game. I liked the Midna character. I like how you could turn into a wolf and dig and find different items and bark and snarl and bite people in your wolf form. I thought that was really cool. I liked how he was kind of forced to be a wolf at some points. So that was kind of a cool story element to it. That idea of unwanted transformation is a theme in that game for both Link and the Midna character. And I won't spoil that here. I've done enough spoilers today. But yeah, also a really good game. So that's kind of the new element to it. Link in his wolf form. Better graphics than Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. 128 bits, more realistic, which I prefer for Legend of Zelda. Um, Good use of shadow, a bit darker in terms of its lighting than the other games, which I also liked. But has a lot of the same Zelda elements. You get to walk around and talk to characters like in the second original game, and found in the other games also. Going to different towns, breaking pots for rupees, and buying different items and playing different games. That was first really found in Legend of Zelda. Well, it was found in the first Zelda too, because you can play that money making game. So playing games is another element of Zelda, which is also prevalent in all the games and also found in Twilight Princess as well as Wind Waker and all of them. Um, yeah, that's a really good game too. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Oh man, I'm super tired. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm so sleepy. Um, I'll try to wake up here. I might have to eat something before I do the next video. So Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is really good. I did play Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for the Wii. I think that's on the Wii U also. I never actually beat that one. I did beat Ocarina of Time, and I did beat Wind Waker. But I also beat Twilight Princess. This one I did not finish. Maybe I will finish that someday. For whatever reason, I think I was just too busy in grad school to finish it. But Skyward Sword is also really good. I didn't play that a lot. I'm trying to remember what the unique element was to that one. Skyward Sword. I know you can fly in that, and I know you like fly on the back of this giant bird. But I'm wondering if that's the only element to it. Um, okay, I'm going to research this a bit here. Hmm. So you can use, as in Twilight Princess, which I should have mentioned, the Wiimote to swing your sword as well as use your shield, which you use with the nunchuck. You use it to fire your bow and arrow, as well as the other weapons too. I think you can use it for the hook shot too, and if that's in Twilight Princess, I can't remember if that's in there or not, but that's an important element that I completely looked over for Twilight Princess, the use of the Wiimote and nunchuck for the gameplay, using the weapons, attacking enemies, firing at enemies, mostly for the combat, um, or all of the combat. Okay, so Skyward Sword HD. I think that's the only element of the game, or the major element of the game, is the flight where you're flying around on that giant bird, but I can't remember very much about it. I like that it's set in Skyloft. I'm just reading this now, but Skyloft is in the sky. So you have sort of water from Wind Waker, and then Return to the Forest for Twilight Princess, like all the other games. But this one is in the sky, which is cool. So I'm glad they did that. Really good game. I have to. I can't talk too much about it because I never actually played all the way through, but that's a good one too, where you can fly around on a bird with Link. Uh, so, other Zelda games that I've played. Oh, I played the Four Swords Adventures too on GameCube. That's another good Zelda game where you can play as the four different characters simultaneously, and you can form them into different formations. So you can play like in a diamond formation, and you can use that to fight enemies differently than your square formation. I'm trying to make a square here, there, um, which is cool. I really like that element to the gameplay. That's an interesting idea, and I'm glad they incorporated that into that Zelda game. I forgot about that one, so I'm glad I remember that now. Um, and then, um, and then, what's the other one that I played after that? Oh, right, Breath of the Wild. I played on the Switch, which is also very good. I never beat that either. I think I got three or two and a 2.9 out of the four um, main dungeons that you need to beat to completely beat the game. So I never actually beat that all the way through, but that's another really good Zelda game. More open world than the other ones, like super open world. Like you have just a giant world, and even might even be twice as large as the other Zelda games. Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and Ocarina of Time. Um, and Majora's Mask, although Majora's Mask was a bit more contained from what I played. But yeah, huge open world in this one. Yeah, it gives you a bit more freedom to move around and explore than the other ones, but you still do have to obviously complete certain tasks to beat the game. You essentially have to find these temples, which you have to unlock and find using this special device. I don't know the specific name of the device, but in order to see these temples, you have to find this device to do that, and then you have to unlock them, and then you have to go into these temples, which are like the dungeons in the other games, and then fight enemies to gain weapons, like in all the other Zelda games. A new element of this game, which I also like, you can still go around and talk to people in the towns and get information and supplies, buy armor, which is really cool. I think that was introduced in Twilight Princess. If I'm mistaken, do correct me in the comments. But this game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, super open world, has the temples, which you have to use a special item to see and unlock. You can buy armor, like in the other games, and there's different types of armor you can buy. There's a special type of armor you can also use to swim up waterfalls, which is really cool. And but the one element that I really liked in the game, which was a lot of fun, was the cooking element, where you find food throughout the wilderness that you're traveling in. You can find fruit and mushrooms, and you can hunt game like boars and deer and rabbit, and you can put all that food into these pots that are found throughout the game, both in towns as well as in the villains hideouts. You can put all the ingredients in these pots, And then when you cook them, if you put in the right ingredients, you can create these potions which allow you to have either increased speed or increased durability. Um, there's sometimes if you don't put in the right ingredients, it'll just turn up as like uh, garbage essentially, which you do not want to eat because that will decrease your health. But as stated, if you create the right type of potion, you can gain strength and speed, electric power, firepower. Um, yeah, they're really cool powers you can gain from these potions you can make using the cooking element. And you can also make just different types of meals too, which can also just increase your health. You can make like shish kebabs is one example I can think of. Other meals, I'm blanking on what other type of meals you can make, but um, just different meals that can create your health in addition to the potions. So another really good game. I know you can unlock different outfits also for the game. Trying to think of this game is, I guess, well known for Link dressing as a girl, so to speak. But the outfit he has, I mean, you could argue that that's a boy's outfit also. I mean, it just looks like a Arabian boy outfit. But yeah, he spoiler alert. I'm spoiling things again. He uses that to gain access to the Gerudo tribe, which is a tribe of all females. So that is part of the game too. But the outfit they have is relatively androgynous. I think you could argue for a boy's outfit. Also a bit iffy, but arguable. Um, but yeah, really good game. I like the cooking element. I really like the super open worldiness to it, just the sheer massiveness of the world you're in. Like the new armor you can get. You can use the switch again for motion control for your weapons. Um, you can use that and um, similar to the Wii motion controls, just using the Switch controllers now. So there is the open world element, there's the cooking element, there's the new armor, and then the temples. I forgot. Yeah, the temples are another one. But yeah, those are all elements of the game that I really like. Breath of the Wild is really good. I haven't played Breath of the Wild 2 yet. I watched Vinesauce play some of it on his YouTube channel, but that seems like a really good addition also. Oh shoot, another element that I really liked about the game um, is the magnet you can use to carry metal items to different parts of a level, and they're also used to solve puzzles. So you have to put different metallic parts into a certain slot, which will create a Rube Goldberg type movement. It'll cause another piece of metal to move, which will cause another piece of metal to move, which will open a door for you to go through and progress throughout the level. So that's another element that I forgot about. So you have open world, you have the temples, which you need to first be able to see and then unlock. You have the cooking element. You have the new armor, including the armor that allows you to climb up the waterfalls when swimming. You have the ability to hunt game and cook that game, as well as cook the food that you can also find in those levels. And you have the switch controls, which you can use to fight enemies with and use your weapons with. And that final part where you can use that special magnet device to take metal parts to both build things as well as solve puzzles with. So Breath of the Wild, that's the most recent Zelda game I played. That's another really great addition to the Zelda series. And again, this is just a talk about Zelda and the Zelda franchise. It's very good series and franchise, and I haven't played some of the games. Like there's one with a train that I haven't played yet, so I'll have to check that one out. That might be good, but I'll just have to look into that. But all the Zelda games I mentioned, I all really like. Majora's Mask is the only one that's a bit iffy for me, as the difficulty level is super high with that time limit. But overall, I give Zelda and all of the games that I've played, all of them are very good. I give the franchise an A plus score overall. Um, so that's it for this video. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. I have to work on my ending here. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you have a good rest of the day.